We are making rice noodles. Please click the CC button to turn on subtitles in your language. After soaking the rice overnight or for at least 6 to 8 hours, make sure that you wash and rinse the rice really well before blending. And the ratio for blending is 1 water, 1 rice. I normally blend the rice for about 3 minutes. Be sure to pause the blender every now and then instead of blending it continuously. Otherwise, you could overheat or burn your blender. After blending, strain the batter through a nut milk bag or cheesecloth to catch any sandy, unblended rice. I normally don't do this for other rice dishes, but for noodles, I find it gives a much better texture. The rice left behind in the nut milk bag will be very soft and silky. I usually put it back in the blender and blend it again until it passed through the nut milk bag. Make sure there is no sandy texture left. Let it rest for 30 minutes or longer if you like. After 30 minutes, you will notice that the rice has settled at the bottom of the pot while the water rises to the top. This is when you can adjust the thickness of the batter. Brush a thin layer of oil onto your plate and then heat it up for about 10 seconds with lid on before pouring the batter. You prefer thick noodles? Pour in more batter. For thinner noodles, use less batter. Make sure you spread the batter evenly across the plate. Avoid having some areas too thick and others too thin because the sheet will turn out to be cooked unevenly. Put the lid back on and steam for 2 minutes. Once you start seeing the bubbles, it's ready. I'll show you how I felt with this one because the batter was too thin. You can see that I'm removing some batter from the plate. After steaming, the rice sheet turned out so thin that I couldn't even remove it from the plate without tearing it apart. You can check if it's ready or not by tapping your finger on it. If it feels smooth and doesn't stick to your finger, it's ready. If it's still sticky, cover it and steam it a bit longer. These noodles are perfect for stir frying. You can cut them as thin or as thick as you like, but I recommend making them thicker because they are less likely to break apart during stir frying. I realized this type noodles taste a lot better and the texture also better after you dry them in the sun and use it instead of using it straight away after steaming it. I'll explain it very soon. How do we prepare the noodles before stir frying it? So I soak them in hot water for about 1 minute. And then I'll drain the water and transfer them to room temperature water for another minute. And after that, they are ready to use. It's still chewy a little bit, so I suggest you to soak it in hot water for at least 1.5 minutes. I did only 1 minute, that's why it's still chewy. These noodles, I didn't put them in the sun, but I kept them in the fridge overnight They are still fine for stir frying, but they be a bit stickier and more likely to break apart. The flavor is very wonderful because they still have that fresh and steamed rice taste. So if you want to keep it in the fridge overnight, it's okay to do that before stir frying. These are the noodles that I kept in the freezer overnight. Before stir frying it, I let them defrost at the room temperature. I found that they are very sticky after freezing, so I don't think it works for me. Rice noodles are much easier to work with if you add tapioca starch or even a combination of tapioca and cornstarch. The noodles will be smoother, more elastic, and less likely to break. For this recipe, however, I chose to use only plain rice without adding any extra starch. So this is my experiment on rice noodles. I'm not an expert, but I'm sharing what I know to you guys.